Bismillah. All right, we're continuing now in Bahdatun Nazar. Bahjatun Nazar. We've reached question 36. The author says, speak about the torture of the grave. Or in the grave. Speak about the torture in the grave. All right. Speak about it. That's a command. That's a command and it's open. So we want to give a clear, short answer. What's my answer for this? Speak about the torture in the grave. My answer would be we are obligated to believe in the torture of the grave because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed us about that. Non-Muslims and some sinful Muslims will be punished in their graves. The non-Muslim, he will be punished in his grave until his body decays, whereas the Muslim will be punished in his grave for a limited time. And the torture of the Muslim in his grave is much less, though it's still 100% unbearable. There is not anything about it that is bearable in the slightest. It's not something you can get used to. And this torture of the grave includes the grave squeezing a person until his ribs crisscross, and includes other things like seeing your place in hell twice per day, and other things. And if someone denies the torture of the grave, he commits blasphemy. That's my answer. Let's see what the answerer said here. He said, one must believe in the torture of the grave. Yes. The accountable non believer who dies without repenting from his blasphemy will be tortured in his grave. Yes. Among the torture in the grave for the blasphemer is seeing hellfire twice a day, once at the beginning of the day and once at the end of the day. Yes, day here meaning daytime. The grave squeezing him until his ribs overlap. Okay, I said crisscross. The two angels, Munkar and Nakir, hitting him between his ears with an iron hammer. That's from the back of his head. And other types of torture. Some of the Muslim sinners who died, you don't need a comma here. Some of the Muslim sinners who died without repenting will be tortured, also not here, will be tortured in their graves with less torture than that of the blasphemers. Yani, less meaning lighter, but still at the level of completely unbearable, excruciating. Yani, excruciating to a degree higher than any torture of the earthly life. The torture of the grave is another level as far as the torture is concerned. Just so that you don't underestimate that it's not in hellfire yet, it's not judgment day yet, still while the dunya is going on. This is the first step to the afterlife, the time of the grave, the life of the grave. It says some of what they will face include being bothered by the darkness and the loneliness in the grave. Yes, and also their ribs crisscrossing. This happens to believers too. The one who denies the torture of the grave commits blasphemy. No need for a comma here. All right. That's a fine answer for me. But continues here with appropriate information. Citation from religious documentation. Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Ghafir, verse 46, النار يعرضون عليها غدوا وعشيا ويوم تقوم الساعة أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب. The verse means the fire yani hellfire, they are exposed to it morning and evening, meaning it is displayed to them. And evening means late in the day. Yani, this means at Asr time. This word evening in English, you use it for before Maghrib and Isha, all night. In the night, you can call the night the evening. And you can call the early night the evening. And you can call Asr time before the sun goes down the evening. Question? No question. Okay. And on the day of judgment, make the people of Pharaoh enter the severest punishment. Who's being addressed here? Make the people of Pharaoh enter the severest punishment. That's the angels. O angels, أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب. Commit the people of Pharaoh to the most excruciating of torture. Okay, that's appropriate. That's not a digression. And the answerer also wants to offer a hadith. So the answerer offered an ayah and a hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إن العبد إذا وضع في قبره وتولى عنه أصحابه. When a human being, a slave, a God slave, is laid in his grave, وضع, when he is put in his grave and his companions leave, إنه لا يسمع قرع نعالهم. He hears their footsteps. He hears the hitting of their sandals. Indeed, he does. Indeed, he certainly does. إنه لا يسمع. أتاه ملكان. Two angels come to him. فيقعدانه. Then they sit him up. فيقولان. And they say, يعني they ask him, ما كنت تقول في هذا الرجل محمد. What did you used to say about this man, Muhammad? Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. فأما المؤمن فيقول. The believer will say, أشهد أنه عبد الله ورسوله. I bear witness that he is the slave of Allah and his messenger. فيقال له. Then it will be said to him, انظر إلى مقعدك من النار. Look at your place in the hellfire. I'd say give that a big H there. أبدلك الله به مقعدا من الجنة. Allah has given you a place in paradise instead of it. A seat. Maq'ad is a seat in a literal sense. You might use the word seat meaning position, not a chair or a stool or an office. When someone runs for the seat of a mayor or a judge, or when someone unseats another one, فَيَرَاهُمَا جَمِيعًا. Then he will see both places. وَأَمَّا الْكَافِرُ أَوْ الْمُنَافِقُ. But a non-believer or a hypocrite will say to the angels, فَيَقُولُ لَا أَدْرِي. I do not know. كُنْتُ أَقُولُ مَا يَقُولُ النَّاسُ فِيهِ. I used to say what the people used to say. فِيهِ, about him. فَيُقَالُ لَا دَرَيْتَ وَلَا تَلَيْتَ. It will be said to him, you neither knew nor did you give the right answer. That's interesting. I'll leave it there. I won't say anything here. ثم يضرب بمطرقة من حديد. Then he will be hit with an iron hammer between his two ears. بين أذنيه فيصيح صيحة يسمعها من يليه. And he will cry, and he will shout. Or maybe instead of cry out. يصيح. He will shout or he will scream. A scream or a cry that will be heard by whatever approaches him. Man yalihi approaches him, yani what is near him, what is by him, what is in his vicinity. Illa thaqalain, except human beings and jinn. Correct. Narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim, Rawahu al-Bukhari wa Muslim, as related by Anas from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, I find that to be a fine answer. It's possible to shorten it because the hadith is a little bit long, but yani, if that's what a person asks you and you have his attention and he can comprehend what you are saying, then that's a fine answer. You want to keep your answers brief, though. Question 37. Speak about the enjoyment of the grave. Answer. One must believe in the enjoyment. Oh, wait. What's my answer? Speak about the enjoyment in the grave. My answer is that the enjoyment of the grave is for the believers exclusively. Those who died as believers will experience enjoyment in their graves. That includes their graves being illuminated and smelling the scent of paradise and seeing their place in paradise and other things. That's my answer. If it were me, I'll let the person ask for his own evidence. If he wants evidence, I'll let him ask for the evidence. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Like you see in the previous answer, the one who answered the question gave evidence from the Quran and from the hadiths. When I answered the question, I didn't give evidence from the Quran or the hadith. I probably would not give that, and I will just let the person ask me if he wants to ask me, or maybe I might mention a brief reference. It's important to let a person ask his own questions. A lot of times you want to be helpful to a person, so you are offering him information. But let a person ask his own questions. Just a suggestion for you. Can I zoom in slightly on the text? Sure. Well, without going out of the borders only slightly. Otherwise, I don't have any space left. Is that good for you? So this one answers by saying one must believe in the enjoyment of the grave, in the grave, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told about. Among that enjoyment includes the widening of the grave to 70 by 70 cubits for the pious believer. And for those non-pious Muslims for whom Allah willed such a widened grave, yani, even for sinful believers, Allah may expand their graves. Like those who gained martyrdom but were not pious. Yeah, martyr doesn't mean pious, but the status of the martyr is a special one. So that's why you don't want to miss it if you had the chance to get it, especially if you are not pious. There's your out right there. Also, among that enjoyment is the grave being illuminated by a light that resembles the light of the full moon and smelling the fragrance of paradise. So, up till there, that's like my answer. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إذا قبر الميت أو الإنسان. Okay, so here starts the evidence, which is that's not a digression from the question, since the question is open. Speak about it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إذا قبر الميت أو الإنسان أتاه ملكان أسودان أزرقان. When the deceased or a human is buried, meaning that's how the hadith goes. Al-Mayyit, the deceased, أو الإنسان, or the human. Usually when you see something like that, that's called Shakurawi. Shakurawi, the doubt of the narrator. Meaning the narrator doubted. Does it go this way or it goes that way? So this is what's reported. When the deceased or a human is buried, there come to him two blackish bluish angels or blue black angels or navy blue. This means very dark blue. Allah gave them this color because it is frightening. How do you spell Shakurawi? Shak Arawi. يقال لأحدهما منكر وللآخر نكير. One of whom is called Munkar and the other Nakir. فيقولان له, they say to him, له, ما كنت تقول في هذا الرجل محمد. What did you say or used to say about this man Muhammad or that man Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. فهو قائل ما كان يقول. And he says what he used to say. فإن كان مؤمنا قال هو عبد الله ورسوله. If he were a believer, because it's hypothetical, so you say if he were. If he were a believer, he would say, but most of the people don't say this anymore. If he were a believer, he would say, he is the slave of Allah and his messenger. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his slave and messenger. فيقولان له, so they say to him, إن كنا لنعلم أنك لتقول ذلك. We knew that you would say that. يعني, indeed, we knew that you would say that. ثم يفسح له في قبره 70 ذراعا في 70 ذراعا. Then his grave is made spacious for him, 70 cubits by 70. وَيُنَوَّرُ لَهُ فِيهِ, and it is illuminated for him in there. فَيُقَالُ لَهُ نَمْ, then it is said to him, sleep. فَيَنَامُ كَنَوْمِ الْعَرُوسِ الَّذِي لَا يُوقِظُهُ إِلَّا أَحَبُّ أَهْلِهِ. Then it is said to him, sleep. And he sleeps like the bridegroom, yani like a groom, a newlywed groom, who will be woken by none but the dearest of his family to him, yani his most beloved wife. حتى يبعثه الله من مرجعه ذلك, until Allah raises him from that resting place of his. Yani he will have enjoyment until resurrection day. This doesn't mean he will stay in his grave. Allah will make him enjoy until he raises him from that bed of his, not with the meaning that he will stay in that bed of his, because eventually his body will decay and then his soul will be released from the grave and go elsewhere. But on resurrection day, he comes forth from his grave. His body will recompose where it decomposed, and his soul will reunite with his body, and then he will come out of the ground from there. Any questions so far? طيب. Question 38. Speak about the questioning of the two angels, Munkar and Nakir. All right. My answer to this is that We must believe that the people from the nation of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam will be interrogated in their graves by two angels. Munkar, their names are Munkar and Nakir. Every dead person is visited by two angels. These angels, their appearance is frightening, scary, but the good believer will not be afraid of them when he sees them. I don't know what's the case of the sinful believer. Will he be afraid of Munkar and Nakir when he sees them? What I heard is that these hadiths about the enjoyment of the grave and the torture of the grave and the questioning of the angels do not address the case of the sinful Muslim. They address the case of the good Muslim and the case of the blasphemer. All of what I read to you so far about what the believer will say and what will happen to the believer is for the good one. So what will happen to the sinful Muslim in his grave? Don't be the one to find out. Yani, not personally, I mean. May Allah protect us. Ameen. Allahu A'lam, I don't know if there's anything reported or documented about that. So my answer is that the torture, the questioning of the angels, Munkar and Nakir, is for the people of the nation of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam. They question the person in his grave about his Lord and his prophet and his religion. Maybe that's what I would say to answer this question. And then if the person wants to follow up, I'll let him follow up. If he says to me, can you make that more clear? I'm going to say to him, what's not clear? That's me personally. What's not clear? Tell me so I can make it clear for you. Unless I can perceive what's not clear. He said, can you clarify that for me? If I can perceive what's not clear for him, then I won't ask him what's not clear. But if it sounds to me that what I just said to him is very clear and he asked me to be clear, then I'm going to ask him, what's not clear for you? Here's the answer in the book. One must believe in the questioning of the two angels, Munkar and Nakir, who ask this nation's believers and blasphemers about the belief on which they died. What does that mean? That means this interrogation is not for the nations of previous prophets. The interrogation part, not the enjoyment or torture part. Enjoyment of the grave and torture of the grave is confirmed not only for us in the nation of Muhammad and for others, but the interrogation of the grave is for the nation of Muhammad only. Sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam.
Assalamu alaikum, Shay.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So the other nations, if we, this nation, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, be questioned. So what happened to the? Is anything recorded about the other nations? Would they be interrogated?
There's not a questioning for them. Just enjoyment or punishment.
I guess that's a benefit for them then.
I don't know. I don't know what's the wisdom about that being for Muhammad's nation only, alayhi salatu wassalam. But that's amongst the specialties of the nation of Muhammad. I don't even know if this was revealed to other prophets.
Okay, thank you, Shay.
You're welcome. And it's possible that Allah didn't reveal it to another prophet before, so they wouldn't know about it. In the hadith, Jesus and Abraham and who was it? Moses, they talked together. Probably that was the night of Al-Isra wal Mi'raj. I'll have to review. So they were asking each other, did Allah reveal something to you? Do you know anything about this? Do you know something about that? And they would say, I don't know about this. Or one would say, what I know is like this. And Moses was the first prophet that Allah revealed to him, the first prophet that Allah revealed to, that Allah has not seen in the dunya by the eyes. Was not revealed to a prophet before Moses, that Allah has not seen in the dunya by the eyes. So I don't know, what did anyone know about the questioning of the grave that happens to the nation of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this answerer says, one must believe in the questioning of the two angels Munkar and Nakir, who ask this nation's believers and blasphemers about the belief on which they died. That's correct. I like the way it's formulated too as a sentence. The God-fearing believer does not fear them, nor is he disturbed by their question. We don't need semicolon here. And you can put a comma here. The God-fearing believer does not fear them, nor is he disturbed by their question, because Allah strengthens his heart. This believer will not be afraid of their frightening appearance, since they are, as mentioned in the hadith, blackish bluish. Yani, blue black. This is one color, not two colors, not they don't have stripes or patches or Allahu alam what they have. It's not meant here to say they have stripes or they have patches, with some blue, some black, not like that. It's one color. However, prophets, children who died before puberty, and battlefield martyrs are exempted from this questioning. And when we say prophets, what's meant is the kind. And practically, that means, though, Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because this questioning doesn't exist before the nation of Muhammad anyway, sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam. Prophets, meaning the Prophet, children who died before puberty, and battlefield martyrs are exempted from this questioning. Question 39. Speak about resurrection. Another open question. If you want to call it a question, really it's a command. Okay, my answer would be we must believe in the resurrection, which is for the dead people to come back to life and then emerge from their graves. If their bodies decayed, then their bodies will recompose and then be reunited with their souls, and then they emerge from their graves. And if their bodies did not decay, they will simply be reunited with their souls, and then they come up out of their graves. That's my answer there. This answerer says resurrection, Ba'ath, is the rising of the dead from their graves after they are brought back to life, after their decayed bodies are recreated if they were among the bodies that decay. This needs some comma somewhere. Resurrection is the rising of the dead from their graves after they are brought back to life, comma, after their decayed bodies are recreated. If they were among bodies that decay. Yes. Some bodies do not decay, and those are the bodies of the prophets, the battlefield martyrs, and the bodies of some of the righteous Muslims. Yes. Allah said in Surah Al-Hajj, verse 7, وأن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها وأن الله يبعث من في القبور. And that they may know that the day of judgment is coming, no doubt about it, and that Allah will resurrect those in the graves. Yes. That's easy. That's clear. Interesting detail for you. You probably knew. What age you come back to life? The age that you died. In what shape do you come back to life? In the shape in which you died. Like how you die is how you're going to come back to life. So some people are going to come out of their graves young. Subhanallah, yani. I wonder how many old people we will see on Resurrection Day, because a lot of people live to an older age. But you're gonna come out of your grave like how you died. If you lost any body parts, they will be restored for you. Mm, okay. Question 40. Speak about the assembly, Hashr. All right. My answer is that the Hashr, or the assembly, or the gathering, or the herding, is that on Judgment Day, after the people come out of their graves, the angels will herd them, yani funnel them, with the meaning that they will surround them and then drive them, make them go. Then all of the people will go to the mahshar, the place of assembly. That's going to be all the humans from the time of Adam until the end of the world. Okay, let's see what the answer is here. The answerer said the assembly, Hashr, is the gathering of the creation and leading them after their resurrection to the land of assembly. So that's what I said. During the assembly, people are of three types. Some of them are clothed, riding, and fed. Those are the pious ones. Uh, how are you going to get these three merits? Those who are clothed on resurrection day, those are the people whose money was halal. Then they're going to have halal clothing. Then they're going to have clothing. They're going to have the cover on resurrection day. They won't be standing there naked like all of the people. Riding, that's going to be for the people who stood up praying at night. You stood up in this dunya praying at night. On resurrection day, you'll be off your feet, riding, while all the people are standing for thousands of years. How long do you like to stand up? 15 minutes, 20 minutes? May Allah protect us from being amongst those who are standing for centuries. Ameen. In the nude. May Allah protect us from being amongst those who are standing for centuries in the nude. May Allah Ta'ala make us amongst those who are clothed and writing. And fed. Who's going to be fed on Resurrection Day? Those who ate the halal. Those are the pious ones. Some are barefooted and naked. I think you don't need ED there. Those are the enormous sinners. And some are barefoot, naked, and dragged on their faces. Those are the non believers. Humans will be assembled as well as the jinn and animals. Yes, that's a nice detail that slipped me at the moment. You're going to see your devil on that day. When a person sees his devil on that day, he will say, "Woe is me! Had only there been between us the distance between the east and the west." Allah said in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 203, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْهِ تُحْشَرُونَ. And fear Allah, and know that you will be gathered or assembled on the day of judgment. Okay. Allah also said in Surah Al-Isra, verse 97, ونحشرهم يوم القيامة على وجوههم عميا وبكما وصما. And we will gather them, the blasphemers, on the day of judgment, fallen on their faces, blind, mute, and deaf mute. Um, I don't know if they did that on purpose. Blind, mute, and deaf. But what does that mean? They're going to be blind, mute, and deaf on Resurrection Day. What does that mean? That's literal or that's something else? We'll have to review. Also, Allah said in Surah At-Takwir, verse 5, وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِرَتْ. And when the beasts are assembled. Now, this is a good ayah to mention here because it mentions the gathering of the animals. And as for what's cited from Surah Al-Baqarah here and what's cited from Surah Al-Isra, I'm not sure why two ayats were cited here. Because I don't see what one of them has, the point that one of them proves that the other one doesn't prove. Which usually, when the scholars multiply their references, it's for such a reason that each reference has a point that the other one doesn't have. So I'm not sure what's the point of one of these ayat that the other one doesn't have, these first two here. But this third one, yes, that's a good one because it proves that the animals will be resurrected and gathered. These two prove that the people will be resurrected and gathered. And there is in the Quran what explicitly mentions the gathering of the jinn. Let's stop here. Wallahu a'lam. Any question?
Shay, I came in late. That the Shaq Arari, the doubt of the narrator. What was that
Ah,
explained for?
okay. Shakur Rawi. That's for When you see something in the hadith like this here, when the deceased or a human is buried, that's how the Prophet said it. When the dead one or the human is buried, or he said one of them, but the reporter, whether that's the companion who's doubting or the follower of the companion who's doubting, one of the reporters, is it that one of the reporters is doubting how it went? So he's saying went this way or that way. That appears in hadiths every now and then. It's called shakkur rawi, the doubt of the narrator or the doubt of the reporter.
So it's not a sahih.
That doesn't take the hadith out of being authentic. Just that he doubted which does the word go this way or that way. This doesn't make the hadith weak.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك